Okay, guys, back with you here on Thursday the 28th. Next up is a look at gold per the polling this morning. Now, this, I think, so I'm out here on a 3-day here. I've got the XAU USD. This is with Oanda. Never know about that pronunciation. Anyway, so just basic stuff here. This is going to be a lot easier than the S&P. So from my, I'm just going to go back to my '07 low here to my pivot high. Oh, golden zone. Now, I think with more data, this actually is lower, but oh shit, there's a good pivot. So why not? So right to the golden zone, and I've got a clean 5 coming down. So what I think we have here, I think we've got an A. We're in a triangle B, and then there's likely one more push down here. No, we don't have to go. We don't have to break the golden zone, but there should be, is likely be one more push down here, maybe to test this low. You can see here some structure seems to have come into play here. So just trying to get the larger context. So this is tricky here, but I think what we do have is a triangle here. Now it's not absolutely perfect, but it's pretty damn close. So B, C, D. Now it looks like if we're done here, which is we may not be, it's very common for the E to underthrow on that last leg. So if that's the case, then there's a push down to finish us here. So we get this triangle here. I think that's the more probable, right? So this would be my primary count. It's all pretty good here. It's pretty technical on the way down, right? So the 3, that's the 38, the algo target, not bad. Now coming back the other way, right, so if that's a completed 5, we'd be pulling from the absolute pivot. Well, the 38 seems to be the resistance here that we ran into. It's not crazy, right, for a B to be that shallow here. We definitely have the complexity here. We don't quite make the trend line on the E, but again, that's not uncommon. So with a closer look at this, so we can pull this off here. So let's go, I had the subdivision here in the E. Let's go down to a 2-hour. See if we can get that to make sense here. So come here. Got the 5 in here of the C wave. So scrunching up here, let me get this let's get to a larger degree. Oh, micro will work. Okay, so A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1. That looks fairly solid. Nice 3 wave into the 2, 3, 4. Looks like we finish up here. It's a little skinny 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, so far, this looks like all we've just started is potentially now a 1, 2. Oops, shit, wrong one. I want this one here. So it looks like this could be a candidate for the 1, 2 going in, 3, 4, and 5 still to come. So looking here, we get a very, very slight break. And I know because I've been trading this. And I was a few ticks beyond the 65, and I was sure I was going to get stopped out on that push, but it just barely ducked out of it. Here I was deep underwater on this. I'd sold the 50. So I was taking heat on that, gave it a little extra room up there, and got spared the stop out. Usually when they get that close, they're going to get you, but I got spared. So this trade's looking much better. So 1, 2, slight break though, right? So then here this was encouraging coming the other direction. So with the slight break there, the algorithms are gonna be buyers here, but this has just gone straight down today. So that looks like, we have mixed messages here. So with your Elliott hat on, the 2 going between the 618 and 75 or the 786, not uncommon. There's it's a little, you can get it, right? It's there. So you can get an A, B, C in there. And so there's your so let's take these up to subminuet works. So 1 looks like 2. We got a candidate here for a 2. All right, so straight rip down. That certainly looks like a good start on an impulsive wave here. So if we're going to get a true 3, we're looking for lower prices here for the 3, 4, and 5. So we know the negative 100 here will be right on top of the 1618. So if we're going to get a true third here, let's get this. So of course there'll be the potential here for, what do we have here? A golden corner pocket. So let's go original recipe. So let me open this up. All right. So as we see that retrace into the golden zone here, so you've got a candidate. Now, which one of these to use, right? So this looks like the lower low right here. So if I'm Jesus, get on there. There we go. Looks like There we go. Okay, so we've got 80% probability. All right, you guys know this from. All right, well, shit, we could be here if we could be here tonight. So, but that looks like a reasonable target if we're that perhaps the 1 of the third, right? Anywhere in here would be reasonable. Would be realizing that 80% probability here that we have here. So if I'm tight on the top of it, yeah, that looks good. So you get the basic idea. So golden corner, potentially now we've got targets down here. So if we're going to go all the way down, so potentially all you have happening here is we're putting in the 1, 2, could be 3, 4, 5 of the third here, kick for the A, B, C, and the 4, and then down we go for the 5. That is kind of what I was trading off of here, and I just got lucky on that one. So it looks like that ABC is in, and then we're just starting down here. It's too late to be a seller here, and I wouldn't be a buyer per se. You've got no buy-side algo here working for you. So you'd have to go all the way back to the low down here to say, okay, well, there's pivots here you could work with. There'll be some potential. Well, that's interesting. So we get this little spot here, which may be a reasonable target here if this is going to keep falling. So I'd be watching for that. This certainly looks like we complete 5 up here. So this will be interesting to see how this plays out. Yeah, that looks like that's underway. So is there a trade here? Well, so you'd have to wait for a retracement. If you agree with this count here, we're looking for the 1 of the third to get our pivot there. So the next trade, depending on when we get it, would be the 2 here, looking for the 3, right? Which is always, that's the third of the third is that's your money wave if you can get into that. So it looks like that's what's happening here. So I'd be watching. All right, so I'm looking to get out here at this target. So so you wouldn't want to be a buyer here, even though you've got an algo target. So the target is not a buy signal, but that's just a place where if you were short, as I am, you might at the very least lighten up. Here's the next trade. It's the retrace that would follow, and then that potentially would be your target. So with this already in, I'd be looking for a pivot down here, and the trade that I would be looking for, because I do like to trade gold, it would be right here on the retrace to the 50. Now you have this little cluster here, which might be a reasonable spot where we have market acceptance to come back, test this area, and if it rolls over, then you can feel better about the subdivision here of the 1, 2, 1, 2. But it's basically hurry up and wait, right? So you need this to finish, then wait for the retrace, and then the sell should be decent there. So interesting, right? Interesting. Gold always, right, for crypto fans. So this is, old-fashioned Bitcoin, store value. Interesting to see how technically it trades when you really pull out to the longer term here. This is somewhat interesting, which is why I always suggest get out to those longer time frames here. The wave count definitely, it just clarifies, just easier to spot it. So that's what I see there, guys. I'm short and letting it rip. All right, guys, talk to you later.